And that's the new taboo. That's what you're not allowed to be. And if you cannot name it, then you cannot address it.
Seems to me that they always mask these let's call it incidents, just to make it easy here, as a reaction to the so-called abuse of the Israel Defense Forces in Gaza. So somehow they need to react, and the only way they can is to shoot innocent people in a beach, including a 10-year-old. How can that be justified, like among people who go to university, people have the opportunity to read a book? It's just insane, but it seems that people cannot question that, and they just accept it like it's 1 + 1 = 2.
Well, we live in this age of political correctness where you're not allowed to say the truth. You're just not allowed to. I remember quite a few years ago, maybe 12 or 13 years ago, I was working. I'm an interpreter, and I was working with a gentleman from Belgium who was teaching a company how to use a certain machine, and I was interpreting from English. He spoke English and into Hebrew for that. And while they were given some kind of assignment, and we would sit on the side and just chat. And I said, you're from Belgium. You have a serious problem in Belgium. You're not having children, and only the Muslims are having children. So very soon you're going to have a very, very large Muslim population in your country. And this was apropos things that we were talking about. And he just went pale when I said that. And he said to me, he just was very shocked. And he said, we're not allowed to talk about it. He didn't respond to what I said. He said, we're not allowed to talk about it. And when everybody in the news and in politics are using euphemisms instead of talking about what has actually happened, then you cannot address the problem. Everybody's saying, well, Trump is a racist because he only wants to bring good immigrants into America. Well, that was the policy of every country in the world until about 15 minutes ago, right? That countries only brought in immigrants who would contribute to their society, not those who would harm their society. That's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? I mean, the only country, in fact, in the world that would allow in people that other countries wouldn't allow in, Israel would bring in all Jews, no matter what their situation. If they were poor, if they couldn't work, they could work. If they were ill, whatever, they brought them in. But that was really an outlier. Israel is an outlier in that. For centuries, countries have only allowed people who would contribute to their societies in. And now if you say something like that, you're a racist. If Trump says, he doesn't want these people, they're criminals in his country, then he's a racist. And it's like, you can't you cannot say it. You cannot say these words. You are not allowed to. I saw a segment on CNN where one of the interviewees tried to say that these were, Muslims were creating a lot of problems there. The Somalians in Minnesota and now in Ohio, we're hearing, are defrauding the country and so. And the host just wouldn't let her continue. And we don't talk like that here. We don't say those things here. You cannot speak the truth, and then you are blind if you cannot discuss what is behind this. That there is a theology, that they have a mission to take over the countries. It's not, they are a political Islam, which is Islam. Islam is not a religious doctrine only. It is a political doctrine. And it is nothing, there's nothing racist about having objections to a political philosophy or even a theological philosophy. You can be anti-Christian, you can be anti-Judaism. That's okay, but you can't be anti-Islam. You're not allowed. That's Islamophobic. And that's the new taboo. That's what you're not allowed to be. And if you cannot name it, then you cannot address it.
I would like to address.
We've tied our hands behind our back. We've tied our tongues together, and we're not allowed to talk about the problem. We're not allowed to do anything about the problem. I say we, meaning the Western world. And here we are.
I'd like to address the alleged connection between anti-Semitism and October 7th. The spike in anti-Semitism started October 8th. not when the IDF went into Gaza to fight Hamas.
Which was a couple weeks later.
Right. But it spiked, it started to spike before there could be any allegation about Israel being cruel to Gaza. And the Western gullibility of buying all these lies is fueled by billions of dollars from Qatar and such places.